Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, let's go. Friday show, July 14, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you are watching live. However, you are watching or listening to Woodward Sports, we absolutely appreciate you. Live from Dispo in Hazel Park, 9 Mile 75 area. My goodness, what a great place it is. Braylon out today. In his stead, the great Sean Baligian, everybody.
It is great to be with you guys. Two old friends that I've done a lot of stuff with over the years, so it's a little warmer than I thought, though. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's a little warmer than I thought.
Take that
Thank
Spartan
God
hat
for
off.
the
You'll feel
tent.
better.
Thank God for the tent. We don't want that sun beating down on us. Heaven
that's
forbid.
what you were telling me.
Oh, man. Last week we were in Romeo, and the guys didn't have a tent for me. Parker over here, JB would have had a tent, but I think Parker said, we want these guys to bake. So he didn't have a tent.
Well, we're at the perfect place to bake, as a matter of fact. It's
Hey.
amazing how that works out.
Just
can-
having some fun
we
with
can
you,
all bake
Parker.
today.
No kidding. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you. And speaking of baking, are you going to be eating any gummies today?
You know how many people have written me already today and asked me if I was going to do another edible? I'm not sure. I'll see how it goes. Maybe if Sean shares one with me, maybe we'll do that.
You know what?
I've had one in my life. Maybe, well, no, two. I lied. I had one at home, half and half with my wife. So there's two in my life. How many have you had, Shawnee?
Ryan and I were just talking about
Yep.
this before we went on the air. Like Maz, I'm not trying to be a goody two shoes. I never got into it growing up. It was it was never my thing.
Me
And
neither.
it wasn't like I was tisk to
Right.
people that were.
I don't care.
I was like I wanted nothing to do with it. When it became legal, one of my buddies is involved in the trade a bit, and he got me some, and I absolutely loved it.
How about it?
No, absolutely loved it. I told Ryan, full disclosure, I loved it too much.
Okay.
Okay, don't bring any more of those over unless there's a special occasion type of things. But I can't today. I have another gig that I have to do in a little while. But normally, yeah, I'd say yes. I enjoy it.
Now,
a lot.
what are you smoking at home right now? Because I saw something this morning on Twitter. What did you throw out on the in the smoker
It
today?
is going on. I'm treating it right now. It's a process. That beautiful Boston butt.
What do I
Good
call
pork
it, by the
butt.
way?
Yeah, good pork
What,
butt.
what do
pork.
I call it, Sean?
You could call it.
No, I call it baby.
Oh, baby meat.
Baby
That's
meat.
right.
Yeah, baby meat.
So I'm gonna put the pork butt on at midnight.
Okay.
And then tomorrow around noon, I'm putting on one of my personal favorites, beef short ribs.
Ooh.
Okay.
Unbelievable. So I'm putting on beef short ribs. That takes about 6 hours. The pulled pork takes, it depends, to get it to 202, it probably takes, I'm going to say about 16 hours.
Now, that to me is the perfect weekend. I think so many people, Friday, the weekend ahead, what are you doing? You going to any games? You doing this? You doing that? My perfect weekend is to sit in my backyard, open up my grill, grab some good meat, sit there, watch television, and cook. And not have any, just be there with the family, and that's it.
Couldn't agree more. We had Father's Day a few weeks ago, and it's funny. We go through this routine in my family where my wife will say, well, what do you want to do on Father's Day? And I go, listen, just let me stand on my grill. The Tigers are on in the afternoon. It's always an afternoon game. And she goes, well, why don't you let one of us do the cooking? I said, I want to do the cooking. Let me do the cooking. Let me put some ribs on the smoker. Let me put a couple steaks on. That's zen to me.
I
man.
know it.
That is, if you put that in an edible, I'd be happy as a big crap.
I'm sure it's out there.
That same feeling you get. You got a cold beverage of your choice in one hand. You got the spatula in the other. Doing some steaks, doing some ribs. The Tigers are on. That's a perfect day.
I'm
How
telling
do
you.
you deny that?
I know it. And Tom, I know if you had your druthers, you wouldn't be cooking, but
No.
you'd be eating
I would.
and be on your couch,
No doubt.
or in your chair,
You got
in
it.
your spot, watching a ball game.
No
I walked
doubt,
into
man.
Maz's house the other day. He he's sitting there. He's got the perfect spot. He's got MLB Network on. And when I envision Tom Mazawey at night, like I think of Tom Mazawey sitting on the couch watching a ball game. And it is very rare that you actually, like, it comes to fruition, like how you think something would be.
Fred Flintstone.
I walk into the house, sitting on a couch, watching a ball game, exactly how I envision it in my life.
I want to ask Shawnee, were you one of the, well, I was, were you one of the, how many million, was it 17 million, Ryan, that watched the All-Star game?
7 million.
7.1 million, the lowest rating in history of Major League All-Star game.
I love it.
I love it.
I love the All-Star game.
Me too.
I really do.
I mean, explain to me, and Braylon and Ryan are on the train of it don't interest me anymore. Baseball in general really doesn't interest me. Do you still love it like you did? To me, I like it better.
Maz, I can't say like I did because you and I grew up in an era, and Ryan, you weren't too far away. I remember when I was a kid, the National League won every year.
Yep.
And we were devastated the day after the All-Star game. Like, my entire neighborhood was devastated. And if you remember in '83, not only did we finally, and I say we, the American League, not only did we finally beat the National League, but we did it in such dramatic fashion. And Fred Lynn hit that grand slam and put the arm in the air off of Atlee Hammaker. And, honestly, in my little 13-year-old brain, spontaneous celebrations happened all over American League cities. And so to say I loved it like that, no, I don't love it like that. But it is the only All-Star game I like. I think the other 3 All-Star games are absolute puke.
Yeah, but 7 million people only.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And the Tigers came out today, and we'll talk about it. The 2024 schedule was released today. We'll tell you about it, where they open, and
we can do it now if you want. What the hell? We got no problems with it. Tigers came out with their season schedule in 2024. They open up on the road in Chicago because nothing says baseball quite like March 28th. In Chicago.
South side, baby. Give me some March weather on the south side.
I mean, come on, man.
Then they go to New York.
They play the Mets at
and then
City.
the home opener is April 5th against the A's,
who have a 35-6 record against the Tigers.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Since 2017.
It's incredible.
And I think they have 57 wins overall.
Yes.
So 35 of them are against. I mean, it's incredible.
The Dodgers, Cardinals, Phillies all visit Detroit next year.
That's
the
cool.
Tigers have road series at the Cubs, at the Braves, at the Padres. Now, obviously, the very first thing I did when I looked at this schedule was try to find a road series.
There's 3 of them.
They play the Red Sox on a weekend. They play the Yankees on a weekend, and they play the Cubs. I don't know when they play the Cubs, if it's a weekend or not, but that is those are 3 great series. You have an opportunity to go in 24. I encourage everybody to take a road trip. There's no better thing to do than take a road trip in the summer to go watch the Tigers.
I just booked
play.
a trip to Cincinnati with my buddies coming up in August.
Fantastic.
You know, my boy and I, we started that in '06. We went to Cleveland. That was our first trip.
Yep.
And we've been to a different park every year. This summer, we're going to Seattle.
Get out of here.
We're going
One
to
of the
Seattle.
best
Are you getting on a
parks.
plane after the show today and going tonight?
I wish I could. Are you kidding me? But no, we don't necessarily see the Tigers.
Oh,
on the road.
yeah.
We just we want to make it around. We want to make it around. And so when I saw that San Diego series, that was the first series I said to my son. We haven't been to San Diego yet.
Yeah.
So I said to my son, let's go see the Tigers next summer against San Diego.
That's fun.
Because, honestly, as you were saying, Ryan, you would love to have it be a Tiger series, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So this year we're going to Seattle. We're not going to see the Tigers. But, we're going to make our way around. We've been I love, by the way, Maz, I don't know if you and I have ever had this conversation, city in Old Shea.
Oh yeah, it's like Brooklyn.
Unbelievable.
It's like
park.
Ebbets Field.
Like if you haven't been to a Mets game yet, Ryan.
I've not been to a Mets game.
Unbelievable park and very kid friendly.
Oh yeah,
very kid friendly.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. Just thinking about the Tigers on the road, there is something special about seeing the team you root for in their road uniforms.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a series, I've seen the Tigers play at Chicago against the White Sox, in Boston against the Red Sox, in New York against the Yankees, a trip out to Dodger Stadium. Those are great moments that you'd never forget. Every aspect about those trips I can tell you about. It's so fun. And then some I can't tell you about.
I think they got to bring back their old road uniforms, to be honest with you. I like the old ones.
The 84 Tigers.
That uniform
I do like that better.
That's such a classic look.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the one that they rock now, but the home unis are, top 5 in the league. And as far as the All-Star game goes, please, Major League Baseball, let them wear their own uniforms again.
I agree.
Starting
Those
next year.
uniforms, maybe that's part of it.
Knock
Those
it
uniforms
off.
were despicable.
Yeah, enough.
By the
Use
way,
those in the home run derby.
love Dodger Stadium. Love Dodger Stadium.
I haven't been
It's like
yet.
you pull
I'd
into
love to.
Wally World.
Yeah, it is. You wind around through these woods. You're like going, this is LA. There's like these woods, and then all of a sudden, there's Wallywood.
Chavez Ravine.
You half expect, John Candy to run. Sorry, folks, parks.
Right.
But great spot. The Dodger dog was outstanding.
It was.
I don't know what they do to their dog, but it just tasted different. But
The
really,
stadium feels like it's got 100,000 people in it,
yes,
too.
yeah.
I think
is
it's got
one of the bigger
50,000. It's
stadiums.
got like
It's-
50,000.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger ones. And did you know, and I've said this in the past, but Sean wasn't here. If you look at the seats at Dodger Stadium, the different colors of the seats, blue to a lighter blue to a sandy brown to a light brown. It's the beach.
Wow,
Yes.
no kidding.
Yeah, it's shaped.
That's pretty
those
cool.
I
colors
never
are
knew
the
that.
beach.
I never
Those
heard
colors
you
are the
say
beach.
that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And isn't the Mets colors?
The Mets colors are the Brooklyn Dodgers, blue, and the Giants, orange. That's how the Mets, they put their colors together, because the Giants and Dodgers left in 57 to go to the coast. The Mets were born in 62, my year, and they put them together, and the blue and orange, the only ones rocking that colors.
It's got a
How you
minor
doing?
it's got a minor league feel. Like when you go out to right field, it reminds you of some of those minor league parks. I loved it. In terms of the new parks, like to me, like City and Pittsburgh, those are the two that
PNC's
stand out.
nice.
PNC's
Pittsburgh's great.
unbelievable.
Do you like Comerica?
I do like Comerica.
I do as well. I know it gets a bad rap.
Do you know what?
I like it.
The bad rap is it's not Tiger Stadium.
Correct.
It's a wonderful park. It really
They
is.
should have did the right field overhang. Maybe they still could.
They need to do a better job on upkeep too, because I've noticed the last couple years, we go to a lot of games. Now
Yeah.
we had season tickets forever, but we still go to a lot of games, and they need to do some upkeep.
Park's
on that
damn near 25 years old. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Isn't that
compete
something?
unless you're a Fenway, a Wrigley, something like that. It's 25-year-old park. I mean, the Braves got a new park after 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
I think
Less than that.
Less than that, exactly.
Rangers
So,
and the
Ted's
Braves.
gone.
Yeah.
Two-
exactly, Rangers
Yeah.
and the Braves, no doubt about
Hey,
it.
last thing about the Comerica. Did you know, Sean, there is no more out-of-town scoreboard?
Yeah.
That to me sucks. I know it's the phones. You're looking at your phone, but to me that's baseball. When you go to a game, you got to look at the
I
out-of-town
liked how
scoreboard.
they did it out in
Right field.
right center.
Yeah.
I liked how they did that. I always thought that was a kind of the old school way. Obviously, they do it by hand
Yeah.
at Fenway, which is
great.
so classic,
great.
and Wrigley.
Wrigley, too.
But
Yeah.
I didn't mind the electric scoreboard out there at all. It's weird now. It is weird.
When they fixed the fences and moved them in
Yep.
and down, they got rid of
Yep.
it.
What about this year's version of the Tigers, guys? We're going to do a baseball segment before a heavy dose of football. Lots of college football today, some NFL as well. But I want to ask you, we've got about 3 weeks to go before the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. Where do you see the Tigers over the next 3 weeks? They open up on the road tonight against the Seattle Mariners. We'll talk Tigers, but first a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. It's the weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Talk to me.
Go check out Fairway, the steak shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods. The Barada family, they're going to take care of you. Tell them we sent you, and enjoy your cookouts this weekend unlike anything else you've ever tasted before in your life. Fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit.
But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network.
We are live at Dispo in Hazel Park, 9 Mile 75 area. I want to thank Sean Davish here at Dispo in Hazel Park. Want to thank our good friend Summer.
Summer?
Summer is right behind our setup here. If you come here today, yogurt to go. She's going to give you a yogurt. It is the best yogurt you will get. Yogurt ice cream.
You can dress it up, strawberries,
toppings,
whatever you want.
It's got everything you want. Some people come for the weed. I come for the yogurt.
There you go.
It's all good. Sean is in today for Braylon. Braylon is in Philadelphia for an NFL situation.
He's
there.
hanging with Mark Duper.
He's with Mark Duper right
about
now,
that?
the Miami
Duper.
Dolphins.
The Marx brothers.
Yeah.
That's right. But Sean, I wanted to talk a little Tigers with you. Look, I really don't even know how to feel about this year's Tigers team because somebody's going to win the AL Central. Is it going to be the Tigers? Probably not. But they are only 5 games back in the loss column. They're technically 5.5 out right now, 5 games back in the loss column. They open up on the road at Seattle for 3. They've got the Royals for 3. Then they come home, play the Padres and the Angels minus Mike Trout. They've got a series in Miami against the Marlins, too. So the schedule is fairly difficult over the next 3 weeks. What do you think it would take? What do you think over the next 17 games, if they are X, if they are
10-7,
12-5.
I was thinking 11-6, so we're all around the same.
What do you do? Now they'd have to go 12-5 first, or 11-6 first. But what is Scott Harris's job here over the next 3 weeks? What is he deciding?
Honestly, I'm one of those people. If you have an opportunity,
yes,
you go for it. I'm sorry, you go for it. I don't think that we're going to have that conversation in a couple weeks. I don't.
And that's really the point,
of course,
right?
But I mean, in playing along with it, if they go 11-6, I go for it.
Right,
go for it. You don't get in a position this long. I mean, I remember not that long ago in 2014, and I know Maz and I talked about this like in a different entity. Like, that was it. The run was over in 2014. Yep. It was over. People didn't want to admit it, and I would argue with people all the time, like, guys, it's over. Like this is going to end. We aren't going to get anything. 13 is the one that broke my heart. And it goes to show you how difficult it is for a mid-market team like Detroit to get back to that point. I mean, here we are spinning the wheels. I mean, for all intents and purposes, a hamster on the wheel for the last 9 years. So this is a situation, if they do what you said, go for it. Absolutely, positively. And I can hear people now, well, what's the point? They're going to get hammered in the playoffs.
So?
I don't care.
Right.
Because as long as you're not giving up those beautiful little pieces that we're finally seeing, as long as you're not giving up those beautiful little pieces that you're finally seeing, and they can stay here, you can have it both ways.
Right.
You can keep your Riley Green. You can continue to see if Torque's going to come around. You can continue to see about these arms, whether it be Faedo, Manning, etc. And you can go for it. Even if it means, having a 3-game playoff series where you're not even at Comerica Park. I don't care. Go for it. I just don't think we're going to have that conversation. To me, the last 2 series before the All-Star break was a perfect snapshot of the Detroit Tigers so far.
I totally agree with you.
They left 2 games on the bone against the A's.
Absolutely.
2 of them.
And yet they also excited us, right?
Yep.
They came back in that game against the A's and lit it up, and obviously the combined no-hitter. So that, to me, was kind of your snapshot of the 2023 Tigers. It hasn't been pure brutality like seasons gone by. There have been some moments, but those moments are still too few and far between.
And even in the game leading up to the break, here they are about to win a series against the Toronto Blue Jays, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's Charlie Brown and Lucy.
It really does feel like that. And like Sean said, Maz, they will have an opportunity to play us into this discussion or play us out of this discussion. The whole topic is incumbent upon what they do over the next 3 weeks.
And the other 3 teams, the other 4 teams they're fighting with, they're all staying in neutral as well. So if the Tigers just play 500 ball for the next couple of weeks and the rest of those teams play, 500 ball and the Tigers are within 4 games at the deadline, I don't think you have to kill it and go for it, but you could pick up a hitter. You could pick up a guy and maybe give up something in the minors. Just don't give up an Isak Paredes. We all know how that went on about. But, Sean, I want to tell you, I've been to a ton of games this year because they entertain me. They're in most of their games. They play hard. I call them the ragtag Tigers. I've been calling them that since the beginning of this year. They got some great arms, and they got some young kids that are showing us something. And at AAA, you got a couple of players that could come up and maybe give them a little something. Maybe they don't even have to make a big move. Just bring a couple players up.
I agree with you. They've been more entertaining this year than years gone by. And listen, my son, baseball is his first love. We had season tickets 05 to 17, but we still go to a lot of games. The problem that I have with this team right now is even with the guys that are, to use the baseball term, grinding away, the guys that grind away, there's absolutely no consistency with these guys. Yeah. Like, I was thinking to myself back in late May, if you remember, the Tigers got within 1 game of 500. And Zach McKinstry, his on-base percentage was through the roof. The problem with guys like this is that.
Right.
You're going to see this, then they're going to come down to earth, and then they're going to go be subterranean.
He was the leading hitter on the team. He was batting like 260. 260 was the high average.
And I think that's part of the problem with a team like this right now. If you look at it, there are still a bunch of cats here right now that are not going to be here by the time this team is good. Right. There are a lot of guys like that are just here, to plug a hole here, plug a hole there. And it's weird because any other year, anybody that knows me, I'd be screaming sell. The only reason that I'm not screaming sell is because this division sucks.
Right.
And to me, I want to be excited about the Detroit Tigers. I want to watch the Detroit Tigers and be excited about the Tigers, not excited about the fact that the division sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
That bothers me, but here we are.
I totally agree, but at the same time, I think of why I'm such a huge sports fan. And one of the reasons, I think the main reason I'm such a huge sports fan is because growing up in my formative years, in 1984, the Tigers won the World Series. In 1987, the Pistons and the Celtics had great battles in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yep. Then you had bad boy Pistons in 89 and 90. 3 championships the city has won. Well, and then the Lions in 91 with a playoff win, all before the time I was 13. Before the time I was 13 years old, I saw 3 championships in this city and an NFL playoff win out of 3 sports. And not to mention, the Red Wings of the late 80s were very exciting as well and into the early 90s. That's all before I was 13. If you're a 13-year-old kid right now, what do you have to hang your hat on?
Nothing.
An 8-2 finish by the Lions in the last 10 games of a season? So, long way to get to. If the Tigers have an opportunity to make a postseason, they owe it to their fans to go for it, to get in the postseason. And dare I say it, I mentioned this to the guys, and they laughed me off, and I'm sure you'll laugh me off as well. But if the Mets keep going like this and let the Tigers get to within 2 games on August 1st, I am calling up the New York Mets. What do you want for Justin Verlander? Because I have a feeling they would give a player like that away. They have $308 million.
Scherzer's going to Arizona.
Scherzer's going to get traded. They're going to trade everybody they can trade, and you're probably not going to have to give up that much for them. And I'll tell you, if the Tigers make the playoffs at 80-82 or 82-80, and you can go game 1, Justin Verlander, I'll feel pretty good about it.
I couldn't care less if they got it in 80-82. Couldn't care less. Ryan, I want to go back to what you say, because I say this all the time. So guys like me, right? I got so sick and tired, and I've said this to some of the guys from that team. I got sick and tired of hearing about the 68 Tigers. Sick and tired. All I heard about was the 68 Tigers. I knew everything about a team that won a championship before I was born.
Same.
So when 84 happened, I was like, that's my 68. And you know what we've done, whether we want to admit it or not? You know what we've done in the last almost 40 years? We've done the same thing to the following generations about 84 that 68 did us. My son will look at me and he'll go, here we go with the 84 Tigers again.
I'm sick of them.
I can't blame him. I can't. There's no way. Like, Dan Petrie, if you're watching, you're my boy. Say hello to Jeff. But people are sick and tired of hearing about the 84 Tigers.
Next year's the 40-year anniversary.
But my son was born 15 years after it. You know what I mean?
Sean, that's a great point, too, because the distance between 68 to 84 is 16 years.
Right.
The difference between 84 and now, ultimately, is 40 freaking years.
And what are the Pistons working on right now?
The Pistons are working on 20 years. And the distance from
that seems insane.
The distance from 89-90 to 04 is 14 years, and now we're into 20 years. They can't even make the playoffs.
Hey, we're over 15 with the Wings now. I mean, and I don't know about you. That's like, wait a second. I was at Fox 2 doing shows with you and Dan and Woody and all that. We were on day and night. That seems like a couple weeks ago. But, no, Ryan, you're absolutely right. But I think the one that hurts for me is the Tigers, because I know everybody talks about the trips to the World Series, 06 and 12. I will say this until my dying breath. What might have been in 2013 hurts me the most.
Yeah.
They should have beaten the Boston Red Sox.
Yep.
Period. End of story.
Joaquin Benoit.
And it wasn't just the home run. There were so many things after that series that made you just pull a hair out of your head. And Mike Napoli's home run at Comerica Park.
1-0 game.
Like JV pitched to Jeff. Game 6 and you know the mistake at shortstop and everything. There were so many things that happened in that series that if you change one thing or another thing, you know, you're talking about the Tigers being World Series champs in 2013. That's the one that got away to me. And even that's 10 years ago.
06 is the killer for me. It really was. That 10-day layoff or whatever the hell it was, that killed them. And I'll never forget it. 06 to me was one of the greatest Detroit sports moments. Maglio's walk-off home run.
So much fun.
And the way that park exploded. And that was such a great... When I still see it, I almost cry.
Well, there's no crying here. We are at Dispo in Hazel Park. Want to thank our good friend Sean Dabish here at Dispo in Hazel Park. My man having us out.
Sean
here.
S.H.
Yeah, we've got some great product out here. It is Friday. No better place to be. You walk in, you grab your product out of here at Dispo. You come out. Our good friend Summer is off to the side with yogurt to go. You get some weed. You get some gummies. You get some.
It smells good out here.
Oh man, there is no better place to be than Dispo on a Friday. We love it.
Maybe Sean's backyard.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Sean is the best and a handsome man. You will never find anybody but Sean. Come up here for a minute. Come on up here.
He looks like he was sculpted out of stone.
I know.
Look at him.
I've never seen anybody as handsome as you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thanks for having us out.
Thank you so much.
Tell everybody about this place. What they could.
Dispo Hazel Park. Yes, it's more of an express type feel. Sexy vibe inside. We try to have all our customers taken care of. So it's fun stuff.
We love it. We love the association.
Food trucks every Friday. Ice cream to go. So she doesn't.
Oh, Summer's the greatest.
See, Sean's so attractive, some of the product just fell off the table. They were like, that might be the hottest man I've ever seen.
Why the hell is
I hope I
fell off
didn't
the
make you
table.
uncomfortable.
Can you share a little of those looks with me? For crying out loud.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. We are not going anywhere. We'll be here all day. Come see us.
Heavyweights
here
are
in
after
Hazel
us.
Park. We'll take a break. We are going to have some fun. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. We'll do that next. But first, a message from 5 Iron Golf.
Oh, that's me. Let me get my 5 Iron Golf out here and talk to you about it. Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf, located inside the Cambria Hotel in downtown Detroit. It's downtown's newest sports bar, 11. Make that 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Make sure you mention the promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit. Visit 5irongolf.com to tee up for the good times. That's 5irongolf.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog.
Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network. We are the network for Detroit.
By Detroiters.
Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward Sports Network. Sean Baligian in for Braylon today.
Oh,
Always
Shawnee.
fun when we talk to our good friend Sean. Going to be in Monday as well for DMAC, right?
Yeah, I believe it's for DMAC.
People
Yeah,
love
he doesn't
when
work
Sean
Mondays,
Baligian is
Mondays
on the
and
network.
Fridays is D-Mac's day off in the summer.
I love that. I need to do that next summer.
No, you don't.
That's what I need to do. Mondays and Fridays and Tuesdays and Thursdays.
As long as Sean comes in for you, you can do it.
Every now and again, I kind of like that schedule too.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
a good
gonna lie.
schedule.
No
You
doubt.
get a little older, and you know what? All of a sudden, I'm going to put a brisket on for the next 24
I know.
hours. And you just sit in your backyard.
Dude, time is so precious.
Oh.
That is just,
Can't
time
put a
is so
price tag on it,
precious. If I could go back to myself 20 years ago and just tell myself, not save, but invest. Like, invest. And strangle that guy. The 24-year-old Ryan Ermanni that was just going out there spending every dollar I had, And now...
I would tell myself, why are you beating your brain in?
Yeah,
like
right.
I think about like my work schedule back in the day.
Yep.
I don't know how I did that.
No doubt.
Are you doing any football this year?
Yeah, I'm still doing Wayne State.
Wayne State,
Yeah,
play-by-play.
Yeah.
With?
Brady Beaton, former Warrior, and
Tyrone Wheatley this
Yeah,
year.
we got Ty.
And Josh Rennell, Wayne State Hall of Famer, is going to be in for a couple of games. So, yeah, it's fun. The GLIAC's great. I mean,
Yeah,
it is. It's a great thing. And
Now you do the road games too?
yeah. So I'm going to be producing some stuff for the Spartan broadcast as well. Because I work on the home of the Spartans, so I'll be doing some pre and post game stuff for that. But yeah, dude, are you kidding me? It's
I
great.
know.
Still calling hockey games. So.
I did Wayne State home games for a couple of
remember.
years. That was
Yeah.
really fun. That was really fun
I know
to do
a guy
play-by-play.
who mentioned your name, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
it was you. Sean got me that gig. I remember that.
I was like, they were like, "Do you know anybody?" I go, "Ryan Ermanni would be perfect." Like
that was fun.
And you did a
Who'd
great
you
job.
do it with, right?
I did it with
Rod
Rod Beard.
Rod Beard.
I did it with
Wow.
Rod Beard, and Joe Abramson was the sideline guy.
Yep.
Joe.
Yeah, it was really fun, and it was a really unique experience. It was unlike anything I'd ever done in this business before. Calling play-by-play is different than anything you'll do in the business. Like sitting here and talking is great. Doing the TV where you're reading the prompter and doing that. I read 4 hours of prompter today. You're reading. You come here, you talk. And there you react.
You got to pay attention 100%.
100%.
When you're doing the play-by-play. You got to have that sheet in front of you. You got to know. You got to have a good
Mike Brada
spotter.
was my spotter.
Yep, Mike's one of the
Who
best.
is
One of
Dan
the best in the business,
Who is
man.
Dan Miller's spotter for the Lions?
Love
him.
It's
Love him.
next level.
Yeah.
How he is able to communicate with you non-verbally.
Oh, he's such a good
You know?
dude. Mike's such a good guy.
He is so great at what he does. What's up, man? Yes. Welcome.
It is. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. You know, Tyrone Wheatley, as you mentioned, you guys had him on the show.
Yeah,
not
he
long
did.
ago,
He was
right?
great.
When he got the gig.
Ty's a great guy, and we'll see what happens. You know, the last few years, I mean, we're long removed. I think you guys remember we made that crazy trip all the way to the national
Hell yeah.
championship game and everything.
All
And,
winners.
you know, we're long removed from that. You know, Grand Valley's still Grand Valley, and Ferris State is the measuring bar for everybody.
They're the champs.
What,
No doubt.
what Coach Anise has been able to do. So, yeah, it's a blast, Ryan, as you know. I mean, it's Tom Adams Field's a unique place, but so are all the places around the GLIAC. It's a pretty cool
Tyrone, I was such a fan of Michigan football growing up, obviously. And Tyrone Wheatley, I was a huge fan of growing up. He wore number 6 at Michigan. When I got moved up to varsity as a freshman, the middle of the year at Grosse Pointe South High School, there was a lot of numbers I could choose from. And I chose number 6 because of Tyrone Wheatley.
Nice.
I like that's how much I
Was
love
he
that
good?
guy to see. We had great athletes. I mean, when you think of like high school athletes when I was younger, whether it be Chris Webber or Tyrone Wheatley,
Yeah.
Jalen Rose, hell, Derek Jeter.
A guy by the name of Baligian and Edwards.
But I'm saying
He
like
was
when I was
pretty
a
good.
kid here,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were older than me.
Yeah.
Who
You know what's interesting about that is, like, I know, Maz, you and I are. Keith Jackson's one of the
Oh,
best,
God.
right?
The best.
Keith Jackson, the way he said Tyrone Wheatley, I can still hear it in my head.
Tyrone
Tyrone
Yeah.
Wheatley.
Hello.
I can still hear
forget
it.
it.
In my head,
He's
so-
gone.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So
It's a good
fun.
gig.
Good for you. man.
Hoof-hearted says, Ryan, who the heck invests at that age? You have to live while you have the free time and energy and not a lot of funds to truly invest. If you open up, here's my unsolicited advice for if you're under the age of 30. And I'll do the disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. But if you're under the age of 30, you should open up an investment at a Fidelity, at
Edward Jones.
Edward Jones,
Yeah, whatever.
insert Charles Schwab,
Yep.
insert, and just buy an index fund. Buy the Qs, QQQ. Buy Vanguard. It is basically buying all the stocks in that fund. It'll get you about a 7-8% return a year, and you don't have to look at it for 60 years. Set it at 50 years.
You know what?
And if you invest $25 a month, if you invest $100 a month, it is just a way to get your brain in the investing mode. Set up a recurring deposit of $100 a month, of $50 a month. And as you get older, you will appreciate that you did that. Because the more money you make, maybe the bigger deposit you can make.
And the less you have to work when you're our age.
Yes.
Like that's like it's one of the smartest things I've ever done. Thankfully I did that when I was younger.
Yeah.
And to answer the person whoever texted in, you both things can be true. You
Mm.
can still have some fun. You just budget yourself a little bit. And then all of a sudden, you know, when you're old and you want to sit on your couch on a Sunday and you want to have that steak, you want to stay at home, and do nothing on a particular night, guess what? You can.
Because
you
can. Sean, a lot of that is too, and this isn't a financial show; it's a sports show. But
it is.
A lot of this is discipline as well. If you get in the habit every month of depositing $50 into your Charles Schwab account, into your whatever, buying the Qs or buying Vanguard or something like that, that's VOO on the exchange, that's how you get to a point when you're 60 that you look back and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Just want to buy myself some time. Sorry, Tom.
My money works for me. I mean, think about it. That's what they tell young athletes when they go into the leagues and everything.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Make your money work for you.
Yep.
So you take that money, you invest in it, and that money's doing work so you don't have to. I don't know. Thankfully somebody pounded it, and it was an athlete. Somebody pounded it in my head when I was younger, and it's allowed me some financial freedom. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'll be working until I'm 80.
Well, yeah, at least you're not laying bricks, Tom.
I know
At
that.
least you're not laying bricks.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet. There's still time for you. Guys, we'll take a break. It is Fill in the Blank Friday. I love you.
I wish I met that guy.
I know. I wish I met that guy, too, a while back. But it's never too late to start.
Oh, no, we did.
It is never too late to start. Fill in the Blank Friday. Fill in the Blank Friday. Fill in the Blank Friday next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Hey, they've added Buick GMC brands. That's right, Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC offers the same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, where they have been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella, LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com. Find new roads.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network. Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog.
Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America.
Woodward Sports.
The first sports network born in Detroit
And made for Detroit.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. It is a Fill in the Blank Friday. Sean Baligian is here. Sean, are you familiar with the game Fill in the Blank Friday?
I'm not, but let's go.
All right. Here you go, Tom Mazawey.
Let's do it, guys. I'm going to give you a little something. Just fill in the blank, all right? Here we go.
Self-explanatory.
Saquon Barkley. We've heard about the issues he's had with the Giants. He wants to get paid or else. So I'm going to give to you, Saquon Barkley will blank against Dallas on opening night.
Sitting at home.
Oh.
Sitting at home. I smell an Emmitt Smith. I smell an Emmitt
Smith.
It'll be couple weeks after the season starts. He'll do it.
I am going to say Saquon Barkley will be in the starting lineup versus Dallas on opening day. I don't think he will be at training camp. I think he will take this as far and as long as he can go. But when it's all said and done, maybe just after that third preseason game where you have a week in between, the last preseason game and the regular season opener, I think at that point you get something done. I think he'll be in the starting lineup.
Quinnen Williams just got a deal done with the Jets. We'll tell you about that later. That was like their number one guy to go after once they signed everybody else. I think the Giants get a deal done with Saquon Barkley by Monday. I predict by the end of this weekend, he will be a happy man and he will be in camp. Especially when they come here and play the Lions week 1. They will have a joint practice with the G-Men. I think we'll see Saquon Barkley at Allen Park. So I say he will be playing against them Cowboys. All right. Keep it home here. Jahmyr Gibbs will accumulate blank yards, total yards this season. Jahmyr Gibbs will have blank combined yards this season.
Jahmyr Gibbs will have 1,000 plus total yards this year. I will say 500 rushing, 500 receiving for 1,000 plus total yards.
I was going to 1,300.
Oh,
1,300. I can see 800, 500, something like that.
That's Pro Bowl.
These people that go crazy and go 2,000 yards. Guys, the league has changed the way they utilize running backs. He's not going to get that many touches, but I think he's going to make the most of his touches.
I think he's going to get more receiving yards than he will rushing yards, and I'm going to stay right with you guys. I'll say about 1,200 total yards from scrimmage for Jahmyr Gibbs. The quarterback, Jared Goff, will be a top blank quarterback this year in the whole NFL. Top, how many, Sean?
I'll say 10. I'll say top 10. I can't go any higher than that.
That is very impressive. Here's what I struggle with Jared Goff.
We're talking not NFC, right? NFL? Top 10?
Top 10.
Here's where I struggle with Jared Goff in terms of my heart and my head. The dude only threw 7 picks last year. 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. That is an incredible touchdown to interception ratio. He went 350 plus passes without throwing an interception.
For a guy that was a turnover machine for a few years before that.
A fumbling machine.
I think he fumbled, 3 or 4 times the entire season?
Yeah, not towards the end of the year either.
And none in the final 10 weeks of the season? Man, can you recreate that? Can he really recreate that? Could he go 35 touchdowns and 12 interceptions? Would you rather 35 and 12 or 29 and 7? Can he repeat that year is what I'm saying. And I guess I'm going to go with what my heart tells me and say yes. The offensive line is better. The weapons are better. Another year in Ben Johnson's system. I think he's coming into his prime. I think each and every step of the way where Jared Goff has been at every level of his playing career in college, in the NFL, he has been undersold. The Rams threw him away. Everybody here in Detroit was throwing him away. The minute he got traded here, I think Goff is primed for a huge season. So I will say he will also have a top 10 year.
You know what the difference is? Because I confessed this last year. I was one of those guys. Look, the numbers spoke for themselves. What he did late in his tenure with the Rams and what he did early in his tenure with the Lions, I can't apologize for that. He was a turnover machine. He was a guy that you would look at as a bridge. But I'll tell you what, you give him a heck of a lot of credit, and I know we're going to talk about this in a minute. Give Ben Johnson credit because I remember a guy. Remember Lombardi? Lombardi tried to make Stafford fit into his system, as opposed to the opposite way. As opposed to making his system fit and suit Stafford's strengths. And Ben Johnson played to Jared Goff's strengths. And that was key for not only Ben Johnson, but for Jared Goff as well.
Let's just go over this. And, Sean, you're going to be great at this because you and me can just rattle the teams off. Let's see how many quarterbacks are going to be in the top 10.
Okay.
AFC East, Josh Allen, top 10?
Yes.
Tua.
No.
Mac Jones.
No. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, yes. No?
I'm going to keep that one over here.
Okay.
So far, only one.
Yeah. I'll debate on Aaron Rodgers. Listen, Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good last year. And we can talk about what he didn't have, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good.
No, he had a poor year.
Yeah.
He wasn't an Aaron Rodgers. So far, you got one. Okay, let's go to the Central, to the North. Joe Burrow.
Yes.
So that's 2.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
Kenny Pickett.
No.
Who's my 4th? Deshaun Watson.
No.
Okay.
And
I think I tell all these guys, look out for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
You do not pay a guy $250 million
I like
to have
Deshaun, but
yeah, fair enough for this discussion.
Anyone in the AFC South, from the Colts, the Texans, Jacksonville.
No.
Well,
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'll go Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, that's 4.
Okay.
Let's go to the West.
4.
Russell Wilson.
No.
Okay.
Big step back, but no.
Jimmy G.
No.
San Diego Chargers.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
I like Justin Herbert a
That's
lot.
5.
Mahomes.
6. Okay, now we go to the NFC. So far, you got 6.
Yes.
Daniel Jones.
No.
No.
Hurts.
Sam Howell.
No.
Hurts.
Yes.
That's 7.
Dak.
No.
Okay, we go to our division.
No.
No Cousins.
No.
Nobody
No.
else. Okay, so we got 7.
Yeah.
Let's not put Goff in yet.
Okay.
Next division in the NFC South.
Nobody in the South. Derek Carr.
Baker Mayfield.
No.
And then in the West, Stafford.
See, when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So he's
feel
top-
good
Yeah.
about putting him top 10.
Right.
He's top 10.
So you
You
have
been top 8?
So then you have
Good
Stafford.
Lord.
Wait, you have Stafford. Purdy.
Uh,
Who?
Kyler Murray was not going to play.
Kyler Murray, no. And Gino.
No. You guys
No.
are right.
No.
He's top 10. He's top 8.
Yeah, he could be.
So, but what you just said is that he's top 2 in the NFC.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? So that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Wow. See, there's no guessing now. We went through the whole NFL.
That's what you just
Holy
said. Top
garbage.
2.
Holy Christ.
Oh, that's unreal.
Every other quarterback you named. What do you think of Matthew Stafford this week while we're here?
Well, the whole is he going to be traded stuff aside, which is kind of funny. Look, when McVay's done with a guy, he's done with a guy.
Right.
He did the same thing to Goff. Let's see if he's eventually done with Stafford. But I think, much like we were worried about a few years ago, the injuries have caught up to Stafford a little bit.
Yeah.
He's at a point right now. This is a guy that took China Doll very personally, if you remember.
Right.
He had a couple freak injuries early in his career, and he showed his durability. But, the wear and tear on a body, man, they were such a tough watch last year, too. They were a really tough
He only
watch.
played half the year.
That is the Rams are my bold, like if you have to have a bold prediction team to make the playoffs because the NFC is so wide open, I feel like that the Rams are that team for me. And in the AFC, the Broncos are that team for me this year because I do believe with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, I think there's going to be
He's not that
little
bad.
bit of a renaissance.
He's not that bad. I think he's another guy like we were talking about earlier when Lombardi was here.
Right.
When Lombardi tried to pound a square peg into a round hole. It's never going to fit. And I think that was the situation that Stafford was in when Lombardi was here, and certainly Russell Wilson was in last year in Denver.
All right, I got 2 more for you. This is on the college side. The Michigan Wolverines will win blank games this season.
13-1. 13-1.
So 13, Ryan.
14.
I won't argue it too much.
I think they're going to win 14 games. I think they are going to drop a game that you wouldn't anticipate them to lose. I think they're going to lose a game at Nebraska, a game
at 13
at
then as
Penn
well.
State. And I still think they win the Big Ten championship and get into I think they win the national championship this year with a 14-1 record. I think they finish the regular season 11-1, get a 12th win in the Big Ten championship game, 13th win in the college football playoff, and a 14th win on Monday night in January and win the national championship.
I love you. You bring so much joy to my life, Ryan. I'm serious.
You love this.
They will not go 15-0, but they will win the national championship this
You guys,
year.
okay, seriously, and I know I've had fun at both of your expense over the years with the Michigan slappiness, okay? No, I'm serious. I'm coming correct. They are by far the measuring stick in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They are. We as a conference have shown for years running now, we don't belong in the same stratosphere as those teams in the SEC.
No.
And I know people around here don't like to hear it, and I get called names, and Drew Sharp, the late Drew Sharp was another guy.
I can hear him cackling right now.
Everybody, everybody, you guys, no, it has nothing to do with loving the SEC. It has to do with, guys, they're on a different plane than us. That Georgia team last year, that was a Georgia team that was in transition. And look how scary they were. It was frightening. So, Ryan, if they do that, if Michigan does that, my jaw would drop. I'm not lying.
I just think, too, if not now, I'm not sure it happens.
Next year is a gauntlet.
It's got nothing to do with next year either. But if not now, I think this is Harbaugh's best team you could possibly have as a head coach at Michigan. I don't think you could possibly have a better team than this one coming back. That's one. And it just feels like the perfect storm. You've got Ohio State at home with a first-year quarterback. Alabama, Georgia, Clemson will introduce new quarterbacks this year. I don't think those teams will be I think LSU is a team that I think a lot of people will worry about. I think USC is coming. I think they've got a great quarterback, but I don't think that their defense is any good at all. And when they get punched in the mouth, how will they respond? I don't think USC will play a better defense than Michigan all year long than the one they will see in a college football playoff or a national championship game. And furthermore, when USC has to go to Columbus, go to East Lansing, or go to Ann Arbor, or go up to Camp Randall and play a football game in October, November, I think they will fall flat on their face.
Why have so many people put USC on a pedestal?
Because of the quarterback and the head coach.
Aren't they absolutely at a I'll believe it when I'll see it point? And they have been for years. USC.
But they are in better shape now than they've been.
No question. But how many times? You know what I go back to? The greatest coach in the history of mankind, who also doubles as the greatest recruiter in the history of mankind, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, Lane Kiffin.
Do you remember? Yep. This is the perfect world coming together. Now everything, you've got this entity and that entity, and USC was still USC.
Yep.
I'll believe it when I see it. And I'm going to say the same thing to USC that I used to say to all the people around here about Michigan. Try winning your conference first. Let's work on winning your conference first, and then we'll have some of those conversations about national greatness. And Michigan did. And Michigan is the measuring stick. Sorry, Buckeyes. Michigan is the measuring stick now. So that's the way I feel about USC. For all the promise, for all the... No, really, they've got everything together now. I'm sorry. I'm in prove-it mode. I'm absolutely in prove-it mode. I want to go back to Georgia. Okay.
Can we go back to Georgia next? Let me take a break.
Sorry.
We're going to carry this over. Very exciting. We're going to get Georgia. We're going to get Michigan. We're going to get some Michigan State. We're going to get Ohio State in there as well. What about the Irish, the Fighting Irish? What does Sean think about watching games on Peacock? We got a lot of college football to hit on here.
Son, how do I get that game?
But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Oh, Planet Fitness. You know it. It's the judgment-free zone. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable after work on their fitness goals. We're here to help you build a lasting, active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that's got a ton of equipment and full-body training, all that, for just $10 a month. Yep, there's still just $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. For more information on how to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness gym or go to www.planetfitness.com. That's planetfitness.com, your judgment-free zone.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
at work, and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion?
Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper,
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit.
But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit.
But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog.
Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
We are live at Dispo in Hazel Park, 9 Mile, I-75 area. It is a great place, and I have to give a shout out to my good friend Summer, who runs the Yogurt To Go tent. She has the best yogurt in the world, and I just want everybody to know that. And I love her so much.
What do you got?
Huh?
What do you got?
Just vanilla.
Nothing on it?
I only want the vanilla yogurt.
I'll be damned.
I know. I don't need any toppings. This yogurt's so good. I don't need any other toppings.
All right.
It is fantastic. Sean Baligian in for Braylon, hour number 2. Sean, before I rudely cut you off to get a break in, you were going to mention something about Georgia. Talking a little college football.
Love Georgia this year.
Really?
I mean, think about it. Stetson, you can't take anything away from him. He was one of those just perfect college quarterbacks. We were talking before the show. So many people debate this, that, and the other thing about Tim Tebow, right? Well, he wasn't a pro quarterback or anything. Tim Tebow's one of the greatest college quarterbacks I've ever seen. I will argue that with anybody. Absolute machine. Stetson Bennett, I don't think has a lick of success. A lick of success in the NFL. I really don't. What I do know is he was perfect where he was at. He was perfect. And you think about that Georgia team last year. They were a team really in transition that had to make a bunch of changes. Sure, they lose him, obviously Jalen Carter, but that was a young team that just turned into a Hurricane Category 5 by season's end. I mean, what they did in that college football playoff was unholy. Oh, by the way, all those guys are back. Like, it's going to be frightening. That team... if Parker and I were talking, LSU, I think is gonna have a really good team. So, look, I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan did win that playoff win and finally get some credit to the Big Ten Conference and everything. But with that being said, my jaw would drop if they knocked off of Georgia. I mean, it would be.
How about Ohio State last year? How close they were to knocking your Georgia Bulldogs off?
Yeah,
I know they caught them. Because we say it, there's too much time between the regular season,
sure,
and you got to ramp it up again for December 31st. It's tough to do, and Ohio State caught them with their pants down, and the perfect storm, they should have won that game.
They almost did, and you know what I mean? And I think that, again, goes to show there is I know people don't like to hear it, and people are going, there he goes again, because I've been doing this for 15 years. It's a different brand of football. It is. Like, are we mature enough to admit it now? Like, both things can be true. We could say Michigan is an absolute national brand again. It is not living at the past. It is not Tennessee. It is not Notre Dame. It is not Colorado. I was going to do a series of books called the What Happened to books, right? And talk about these major college football programs. Michigan doesn't belong in that conversation anymore. But are they there? I think you have to win something, and you have to win multiple playoff games to get there, because close doesn't count. You're absolutely right. Ohio State, and I'm not just playing the woulda, coulda, they missed a great opportunity.
Hell yeah.
And boy, you look how Georgia responded to it. I mean, not only winning that game, but then running away and hiding the way that they did. I really think this Georgia team's a special team.
If not Georgia, who would be the second team you would say is most likely to win the national championship
outside
this
of
year?
the SEC?
No, in the SEC.
LSU
or Bama.
Okay.
I'll go LSU and Bama.
Okay. So I'll give you Georgia and LSU versus the field.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes, I'll take it.
You'll take Georgia,
I'll take Georgia
LSU
and
versus the
yes,
field.
I really will. I have absolutely no problem doing that.
What would you say then? Because to win 3 straight national championships in this current climate, I think is nearly unheard of.
It's insane.
And by that math alone, I think Georgia's out.
Well, and that's why. See, but you know, here's the interesting thing about that. Take a look at what Nick Saban did. There isn't enough said about what Nick Saban's done. There isn't. Like we don't talk enough about, and let's even just stick with Alabama for a second. What he did down there defies description. It really does. And yet, we've all kind of got past that point. Now we're focused on Georgia. And I think there's a reason for that. These are guys that know exactly what they want. They have become the national brand. They have become where the top guys want to go, because they're going to get that ring. They're going to get the national exposure. They're going to get the ring. And they're going to get, obviously the high draft choice and everything. So just based on that alone, Ryan, I agree with you. But I guess my counterpoint is, how did Alabama do as they did for as long as they did? And you have a guy who's a disciple.
Do they come back this year? Like, not come back. When I say come back, I talk compete for, and heaven forbid, win the national championship.
I would put them third on my list. Like,
How about,
honestly,
here's the question.
I would put them third on my list.
Sorry to geek out on college football here,
Right
Tom
ahead.
Mazawey.
Go right ahead.
Over under Nick Saban national championships for the remainder of his career at 0.5. Over.
Yes. Easy over.
Over. He'll win again. I have a feeling he wins again, and that might be it. That might be right off into the sunset, because he knows this is one of his assistants who's actually moved on and had some success.
The only one, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Nick is smart enough.
Against him, anyway.
And let me tell you something. You know when you're really getting to Nick is when Nick comes out and openly complains about college football and the way things run. Nick wasn't doing so much complaining, if you remember, when Nick's teams were running roughshod over people.
Right.
So when you see Nick doing that the last few years, I think he knows that there may be a new sheriff in town. And boy, you think about Georgia too. Georgia was like always the ultimate bridesmaid, weren't they? Like Mark Richt was always that beautiful lady in the gown, and we came this close, and as the best lady and everything, but. They got a guy in there that knew what he was doing, and I think they're absolutely loaded this year. I really do.
What do you think, Maz?
I can't argue with you guys. I mean, the best teams are in the SEC, but I think Michigan has their best chance this year. If they don't do it this year,
I agree with you.
I just don't know when they're going to do it, because it gets tougher.
They are loaded. Like Michigan,
their whole offensive line. I read something today. Matter of fact, we have a tweet we could put up.
Put it up.
Put up the tweet that one of the experts out there said this entire offensive line of Michigan,
like 7 guys,
will be drafted into the NFL. That's tough.
They have 2 of the best running backs out there too. I mean, 2. They're loaded. I mean, give Harbaugh credit. It took a lot of time. It took there were a lot of people out there making jokes and everything. And you know what? When this happens, you got to come correct. They're the measuring stick now, man. Everybody is jealous of Jim Harbaugh in the Big Ten.
Let me ask you, Sean, this. I've asked the boys this in the past. Notre Dame, looking for a new deal on TV. They want to triple what they're making right now from NBC. But people are saying the only way they can do that is to probably join one of these power conferences. A, do you ever see them joining a conference? And B, is it the Big Ten?
I think they have to eventually. I think Jack Swarbrick, their athletic director, who's taken off pretty soon, even said about 10 years ago, the inevitability of it happening one day is real. I'm surprised that they've held it out as long as they have. I don't know what you guys think about Notre Dame. I don't know in all the years that I've known you guys that we've ever had.
I hate them and I like
Notre
them.
Dame, but I
hate
respect
them and
the
I
hell
like
out
them.
of them.
College football is a better place.
Yes.
With a damn good Notre Dame.
I always say that college football's better
It's a
when
better
hockey's better when the Maple Leafs are good. Baseball's better when the Yankees are
so
good.
much fun to make fun of the Maple
Of
Leafs.
course.
So much fun.
Basketball's better when the Lakers and Celtics are
But
good.
you know what
I
I'm saying?
agree. I
No,
totally agree with you.
And I still say it's one of the coolest places you can ever go see.
Oh,
a game.
God, yeah.
Like if you haven't been there yet and you call yourself
agree.
a college
That's a
football
bucket
fan,
list.
Go. I mean, and they're wonderful down there. It's give yourself extra time to walk around, go see the grotto, see the statues. You're going to be blown away by how nice the people are down there. But, Maz, to answer your question, I think inevitably they have to.
But isn't it a perfect thing for the Big Ten and them?
I think
But
so.
but they've said no all these years.
Maz, hold that thought. I got to get
It kills me.
hold that thought. I got to get a break in. I do want to talk one more point about Michigan football that I want to make to Sean get his take on it. I want to get into the Spartans as well. Thoughts on Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker's on a watch list for Coach of the Year. How he's on that list, one of 21 coaches on the list, I'm not quite sure, but we'll see what Sean has to say about
Ty
that.
Ty Wheatley? Sure, it's not Ty Wheatley?
No,
Ty Willingham?
Yeah,
Ty
either way.
Willingham. He was always on that
so
list.
continuing along with the college football discussion, want to focus on our teams, Michigan State. I want to look at Ohio State, and we'll get a thought on Notre Dame as well. But first, a message. This is damn fun today, guys. I don't know. I'm getting my jollies off talking college football. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but two vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Chevrolet of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper, Allen!
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America.
Woodward Sports.
The first sports network born in Detroit
And made for Detroit.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
We are live at Dispo in Hazel Park, 9 Mile and 75. Proud to be a partner with Dispo, and couldn't be happier to be here. We were at Romeo last week, here at Hazel Park this week. Fine people, fine product, and we're having a lot of fun out here. Braylon is out today. Sean Baligian is here, and anytime Sean Baligian is here, we like to talk college football, and that's exactly what we're doing right now.
7 weeks away.
50 days, something like that?
I 7 weeks for Michigan State, but think about it. We're only 43 days away from week 0.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting this year?
Week 0.
See, I get together with you guys and we all geek out. You know one thing that's always ticked me off about college football is that first, the week 1, okay? Week 0 is great. I love it. I wish they'd put more games on there, a kickoff classic again, whatever.
I used to go to that every year.
In East Rutherford. Yep. I don't understand for the life of me why they don't own that first Sunday in September.
God, yes.
There's no NFL on.
Labor Day.
I would put a game on at 10 a.m. on the East Coast, a game at 1, 4, 7, whatever, okay?
Slam it.
You know, they're finally doing it this year. There's a triple header.
Really?
There's a triple header that Sunday before the NFL starts.
I did not realize that.
Triple header
To tell you the truth, I wish I'm sorry. I wish the NFL owned Labor Day weekend. I do. I don't know why
they
they
did when
don't.
we were younger. Remember, they did when we were younger.
Labor Day weekend.
They want all the vacations to be over. They want the main focus
they
to
want
be.
It all. Yep.
But I'm so glad that college football is at least putting 3 games. Now, a couple of the games are, but I don't care. Put the product on all day. What are you doing that Sunday? Like, the day before Labor Day, what are you even doing? So, it was kind of funny. I was talking to my daughter today because, she's going to be going up to East Lansing this fall. And we like 7 weeks away. I'm going to be out in a parking lot tailgating for college football, man. I love it.
Cannot wait for it. Before I get into the Spartans, I just want to put a bow on a Michigan conversation. Sean, one of the biggest frustrations I had as a Michigan fan last year, and, maybe I'm nitpicking, it's not that they won, it's how they won. I do believe they need to open it up a lot more than they do. And I know they have Heisman Trophy candidates in Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, but they don't throw the ball. It seems like they are content rushing the ball 40 times a game, and in today's college football, it's just not appetizing to the eye. Now, you can tell, they're winning and they're blowing teams out and this, that, and the other thing, but I think you do have to take advantage of the talent you have, and if you want talented players, you have to show them that you will utilize their talents and what they do best, and that is an area of Jim Harbaugh's teams that we have not seen outside of the running back / offensive line position.
And they've shown when they have to open it up, they can open it up. And I think that is probably frustrating to a lot of people. I mean, I don't know about you. Let's play a game, okay? I'm a 5-star. I am a 5-star wide receiver. As a matter of fact, I'm the first 6-star wide receiver ever. My name is Milky Waters, and I am the first 6-star. Yeah, I'm familiar.
You're going to Alabama.
I am the first 6-star wide receiver ever. To your point, why would I go to Michigan?
You wouldn't.
Right.
Like, I'm not being mean. Please don't think I'm detracting because, again, consider the source. They are the measuring stick. But why would you go?
So what year is this right now that we're in right now?
2023.
Did you know that Braylon Edwards, the guy I do the show with every year, is the last offensive skill player at Michigan to be drafted in the first round?
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Braylon Edwards in 2005 was the last offensive skill player to be drafted out of Michigan in the first round.
That's unreal.
They have got to open up this offense if you want to continue to attract, because we know they do have some talent there. But that's what they've got to do. I wanted your take on that. Let's move to the Spartans.
Do we have to?
They were my last fill-in-the-blank question.
Yes.
Michigan State Spartans will be blank at the end of the season. Will win blank.
What feels like it went so wrong, Sean?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, really, offensively, defensively. I mean, really, everything.
I take great pleasure in this, by the way.
No,
I
I don't blame you. If Noah Kim is as good as some people are telling me, and I don't know the answer, I'm not going to pretend to know the answer. How about getting back to a bowl game? How about a little improvement from last year? So I'll go slappy. How about 8-5? And
at best, is that best case scenario?
Yeah, sure. I'll go slappy. 8-5, best.
So they're going to beat Ohio State at Ford Field, or is it Penn State? Penn State.
It's Penn State that Friday afterwards, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, that's a great move.
I've heard that Penn State is going to be really good. You know what my problem when anytime anybody brings up Penn State? Big game James.
Yeah.
Okay? That is a guy that consistently fails in big moments. Consistently. I mean, this isn't anything new. We could talk about all the success he's had. We could talk about how he's brought back Penn State and the type of players that he's recruited there, because he gets some studs to go there. His in-game coaching is absolutely atrocious. It is. So I that's another one. I'll believe it when I see it. When people are talking about Penn State, somebody was talking the other day, the biggest threat to Michigan this year in the Big Ten will be Penn State, not Ohio State. Oh, I'm going to pull back the reins there a little bit.
Hot take.
You know what? We'll wait and see how that plays itself out. But 8-5, best case.
Got to do it to you, Sean. Win-loss game. Central Michigan.
Win. It better be.
Richmond.
Win.
Washington.
After seeing Michael Penix last year, a big L.
Maryland.
Win.
At Iowa.
You never know with Ferentz. I'm sorry, I hate to see be a broken record. You never know with Kirk Ferentz. I'll say loss, though.
At Rutgers.
Win.
Michigan.
Loss.
At Minnesota.
Win. That could be a loss.
I'll go win.
4-3 so far.
Nebraska.
Win.
Nebraska win. Yeah. At Ohio State.
Loss.
At Indiana.
Win.
Penn State. You want to say win?
I do. You know what? I'm going to go full slap because I said 8. I'll say win.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4. You got 8 and 4.
I'll go loss. I'll go loss with Penn State. How's that?
7 and
then
5.
Go win the bowl game at Yankee Stadium and go finish 8-5.
That'd be a good one.
Go finish 8-5. And listen, openly, let me say it again. That's being a slap. Okay.
Right.
I think they'd be happy if they got back to 6-6 this year. I really do. Yeah. I think a lot of people would be happy if they.
Can I do it?
Oh boy.
Get ready.
This ought to be good.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Central Michigan. You want to read the schedule for here? There's the schedule.
All right.
Read
ready?
me the schedule.
Central.
Loss.
0-1.
Richmond.
Win.
1-1.
Washington.
Loss.
Maryland.
Loss.
At home.
Tua Tagovailoa. What's his name?
Iowa.
Loss.
Rutgers.
Win.
Michigan.
Loss.
Minnesota.
Win for them. Minnesota. Loss.
Nebraska.
Loss.
Ohio State.
Loss.
Indiana.
Win.
Penn State.
Loss.
So what do you have, 3? It doesn't surprise me. I'm just not to say that I'm surprised.
He gave you 13 wins.
0%.
Michigan. You're going to give him 3 wins?
Listen,
come on.
You know, okay, so here's the funny thing. Maz, I'm glad that you brought that up because here's and I'm not pointing the finger at Ryan.
Funny.
I love
funny
when
shit.
D'Antonio had that incredible era, right? Obviously, every Michigan State fan loved it.
And I hate
One of the funniest things to me was, do you remember how everybody would talk about the luck or the Big Ten was down or whatever? Michigan State in 2013 beat every team in conference, including Ohio State, by double digits. Like, who does that, right?
Oh, gosh.
And so that's why when people would get mad, like Lil Parker, this is before he went to Michigan
So
State.
mad.
I would laugh at that because my son would get so worked up because he was like 14 years old at the time, and he's going, "Damn, why is everybody disrespecting Michigan State?" I go, "Jack, they beat everybody by double digits. Like they dominated the conference like we haven't seen it dominated in forever." I get it. Like I'm totally fine with it. And what I also get is when you have the type of disastrous season that Michigan State had last year, especially that game against Indiana, what do you expect people to say? Do you expect people to go, "Well, no, Mel, we remember what happened in 2021. No, they're gonna. What have you done for me lately? So
funny.
I get it. If you don't like the narrative, change the narrative. It's that simple. And it goes every way. How many times did people hear me say back in the day, Ryan? I probably said it to you. Michigan fans, take your medicine.
Right.
Just open your mouth. You've never had to take medicine in your entire lifetimes. Take your medicine. Stop telling me that it's all going to happen for Brady Hoke. He's a disaster. You all know it deep inside of you, but you have to take your medicine. And you know what? They took their medicine, they took their lumps, and they came back, and they are again the measuring stick. So I would say the same thing to the Spartan fans out there. Like guys, take your medicine.
We're going to hit on the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll do that next. Is this it for Ryan Day? But first, a message from Dispo. We are live at Dispo, Tom Mazawey.
Oh, Dispo.
Look at
That's
you.
a great place, man.
Yeah, very good.
15 locations, of course. We are here in Hazel Park. Of course, we were out in Romeo prior to that, so you know what the scoop is. Get on out here, and we will take care of you. Come prepared as Dispo Dispensary takes your cannabis experience to new heights, located at 634 West 9 Mile Road, right here in Hazel Park, Michigan. At Dispo Dispensary, your local cannabis plug. Come on down and see us today. We're here till 7.
You have an opinion?
Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper.
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit.
But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
For Detroit.
By Detroiters.
Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey guys, how'd you like to play golf with famous athletes? You know them, Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, and more. Play golf with us guys, the average Joe. You know what time it is. Thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you're going to be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice. Get to a Randy Wise dealership. And, of course, pay attention to us here at Woodward Sports for more of the details to come.
Holy crap, how is it already 3:30?
I know.
My God.
Look at them saying rain's coming, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at that.
Unbelievable.
We're covered at least.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys.
Hey, what do you do with that thing in front of you, by the way?
The bong?
Yeah, what's that thing?
You know, I've only ripped one of these once in my life, and I vomited so hard. So to have this...
Explain to me what you do. What do you do?
So I do know, because I do have a lot of friends.
Okay, tell me about what your friends do. Tell me what your friends do with that.
Well, this, I don't know what this is, but you usually put pot in here. You like the guys make fun of me because I say pot instead of marijuana. So then you light the weed.
Okay.
You put your hand on there, let it go up.
Okay.
And then you take your hand off and take all the smoke in. Like,
do you suck it in?
Yeah. So it's like, oh no. So It goes like this. Well, I shouldn't do that. No, I should not do that. But you put your, that's what you do. You put your mouth in here, you light the weed, it builds up all the smoke, and then you do it. I've done this once in my life, and I vomited so hard. And it was like when I was like 24 years old.
That's a heavy duty product right there.
Yeah, I honestly, no idea.
I got no, but now
that's why I asked what you knew. I had no idea.
You know, I was in a fraternity house. I did live in a fraternity house in my life.
Oh.
Like they used to smoke this all the time.
You know,
I never
know what
touched
that is
it.
because of Laramie Tunsil. Remember
One
Laramie
of my buddies
Tunsil?
has the gas mask.
Oh yeah,
like
the Laramie
he legitimately
Tunsil
has the gas
mask.
mask. And he's like, dude, you want to try this? I was like, no. I'm not a big
That's
World
what
War
you do.
I fan. I'll take a pass.
Sean, I want to talk a little bit about the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day, let's say he goes 7-1 in the Big Ten. Well, they played 9 Big Ten games or 8 Big Ten games? 9. If he goes 8-1 in the Big Ten, loses in Ann Arbor, he will have a 40-3 record in Big Ten play. Does he get fired?
I don't think so. I don't think this is the John Cooper, the younger generation you don't know. Look him up. I don't think this is the John Cooper. I could be wrong. I don't think this is the John Cooper. No.
No?
I'm going to go no.
Okay.
You know what I will go with, though? Do you know what has been revealed to me? And I'm really interested to hear if you guys agree with my theory on this. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to Michigan State for a second. But do you know what I really think? You guys hate Ohio State.
Hate Ohio State.
You guys hate Ohio State. I want to
hate
make
Michigan
that clear.
State more.
Thank you.
I do now hate Michigan State
Thank
more.
you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You guys, listen to me. In the last 15 years,
Yes.
you guys have revealed yourselves. You have. And I'll tell you why. And maybe you didn't even know it at the time. Because you know what you had to deal with? You had to deal with the people like me who magically, like all of a sudden you didn't see them on a college football Saturday afternoon. And then all of a sudden you see them outside with their Spartan cap on and their flag and going, well, hey, neighbor, did you watch any college football today? And all that. And so because of that, I honestly believe that you guys hate hate Michigan State more.
Well, I can speak for myself. I absolutely hate Michigan State more than Ohio State now. It's just
Well,
a fact.
I've always said that. Well, since,
that has not always been the case for
since
me.
Pride comes,
that has not always
after
been the case for me.
Pride comes after the fall or whatever the hell that he said. Ever since that guy showed up, and my worst day ever as a football fan was trouble with the snap. Because you would have thought in my neighborhood it was 4th of July when that damn thing happened. I had the door was open, the screen was up. It was a beautiful day. I was just ready to order Chinese food. I was hungry. A big win over
picture.
Michigan State. And you know what happened. And I threw up in my mouth. And my neighbors are outside screaming and whooping it up. And I've never really recovered from that.
I always say, all of us, this one thing we have in common, our world was turned upside down from 2008 to 2015. It really was.
Yeah.
Our world, everything that we thought we knew was turned upside down. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it that this is a situation where, really there was that win in 2012 where, Denard got that extra yard, remember? And they ended up winning with the field goal. It's crazy when you think about it. That was it for that whole period of time.
As I'm thinking about this now, when you say hate, I do hate Michigan State more than I hate Ohio State. That's unquestionable. But I would...
Let me give you your words. You would let Michigan State beat you if you could beat Ohio State.
Yes, and win the Big Ten championship.
Like
yes.
you did a couple years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
See, this is where I differ from a lot of Michigan State fans. I couldn't care less.
I do think you need to add that caveat.
I couldn't care. If Michigan State did what Michigan did in 2021, that would mean, so what? I'm with you guys. You hear so many people say, oh, no, it's all about Michigan. No, I'm sorry, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yes.
You go ahead and beat Michigan. Go ahead and beat Michigan State. If we go to Indianapolis and knock off whoever it is from the other side and get to a college football playoff, what do I care?
I do think it is an important caveat to put out there. I would rather lose 10 straight years to Michigan State if it meant beat Ohio State 10 straight years and win the Big Ten championship.
Absolutely. I agree.
Conversely, beating Michigan State and then losing to Ohio State does nothing for me, though, either. You know, and losing out on the Big Ten championship.
It's still got to do something for you. You want to beat your rivals.
You don't want
your
to
in-state rival.
You know it.
I don't want
our
these
mutual
kids.
friend chirping at you.
What is what year are we talking about, though?
Any year.
Like, if Michigan sucks, yeah, I'd rather beat Michigan State than Ohio State.
Really
but if
suck.
Michigan is playing for a championship, I'd rather beat Ohio State.
You know how many kids were born in that period that became Michigan State fans? They didn't know Michigan was the brand.
Oh, I said it all the time. Said it all the time.
They didn't know.
It was
all of a sudden,
amazing.
it was like a mutant. It was like a new human being.
It was amazing when my son was like in junior high. So he started junior high 2010. And he had a bunch of buddies come over after like the Northville football game. And I'm not joking.
Yeah.
8 out of the 10 kids were wearing Michigan State shirts.
Yeah.
And it was fun because you know what? You know what they saw for years running? They saw Michigan State not just beating Michigan, but oftentimes pummeling Michigan because a lot of those games were. And it was, you know, of course you had the OT game in 09 and then trouble with the snap. But, I mean, I was talking to Devin Gardner about this because I ran into Devin and he gave me the business about wearing the hat. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, like, isn't part of your body, like, broken based on what happened in 2013 alone? And he laughed. He goes, I didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance that day. So there were games like that. And Maz, this goes back to, I've always said this, at least my neighborhood. Every kid in my neighborhood had a Team B in the NFL. Every single kid in my neighborhood did. I can run down the list of names and tell you that kid liked the Houston Oilers. That kid, we had a kid that was an Atlanta Falcons fan. I still can't figure that out. But, and you know why? Kids want to root for a winner. And when they were young, that generation that you spoke of, Michigan wasn't the winner.
Oh.
You know, and so that's why I always say our world was turned upside down. And
it was bizarro world.
Hopefully now with the Lions, I brought the Lions into the equation. Hopefully now there's a generation of kids that are going to grow up and it's going to be the Lions and only the Lions. But, I mean, the reality is that's exactly what we all had to deal with, man.
It's crazy.
It really was.
There's no doubt. I got to get a break in. I now can't even fathom Ohio State beating Michigan. That's how.
Isn't that weird?
Like, I can't even wrap my head around it.
And as somebody that
anymore.
doesn't have a horse in the race, I agree with you.
Like, I'm not even concerned. Not even this, my pinky nail, concerned about losing against Ohio State. Can't even. Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, technology backed by the best. They've got it all. Means you're backed by the best people and the technology in the world. We love Guardian Alarm. We want you to call them 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800 Stay Out. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency, and SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
That's what has happened in this college football rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. You've got guys like me not even being able to fathom Michigan losing this game against Ohio State. And it's not so much that Michigan won the last 2 years, it's how they won over the last 2 years. It's not even competitive. Michigan beats them up in the trenches, and I don't know if that gets any better at all this season.
Yeah, I hate to keep doing this, and it's 10 years ago, but it was weird how Michigan and Michigan State got to that. Like, after Michigan State did what they did to them in 13, I remember going to the 14 game, and we were all trying to make ourselves. All of us were trying to well, it's Michigan State week, and we all knew. And like in the back of your minds, they said it. I always make the joke, as Brady Hoke was to your fan base, John L. Smith was to our fan base. Deep down inside, Ryan Ermanni knew. You knew probably early on, but you're a fan.
Right.
You don't want to sit back and go, okay, this guy's a disaster. We got to get him out of here. Matt, same with you. John L. Smith was the same way with me. I had some of my Michigan fans tell me after a couple of years, they're like, dude, you know, right? No. You knew that it wasn't going to work. So that's kind of depressing when it happens, because even though I say I'm a guy that doesn't have a horse in the race, I don't care what you two do to each other. I mean that. I don't have a horse in the race. That's college football royalty. As a college football fan, I want to turn on the game.
Right.
I want to watch the game. I want the game to mean something.
Don't tell me, Sean, that you're not rooting for Ohio State.
No, no. Honestly, I mean that. I don't care.
Honestly?
I don't. Do you know what? Whatever bodes well for Michigan State is the way that I'm going to root on that game.
Fair enough.
I'm not one of those guys. Hey, guy, I remember do you remember in 2010 it was the dumbest thing ever.
I think I blocked out a decade of football.
I could never root for Michigan. Wait a second. If Michigan beats Ohio State, Michigan State becomes the outright Big Ten champion. And you're telling me you don't want Michigan to win. No, I could never do that. I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
I remember buying the Alabama hat in 14 or 15, whatever year that was that you guys were good. I bought the Alabama hat.
That was 15. Oh, was
15.
that ugly? No, whatever bodes well for your team is what you should root for. I've never
I gotta be honest. When I'm watching a Michigan State game, and my kid goes there, okay, I pay Michigan State, but when they're playing, there's and I love you, Lil, and I want to root for her team. She goes to every game. She's in the Izzone, and she's got her tickets. Her friends don't even want to go with her. She still goes. She's a sports fan.
Yeah.
But I can't. Even if it's like, again, it don't matter the game. Indiana, whatever, Illinois, and if it's close, I'm always like, come on, Indiana. Because I want you guys to have a bad weekend. I do. I'm sorry. I do. And I know it's Michigan. I live here. I love the state. I hate it. I hate green and white. I hate that my Jets are green and white. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
It's so funny.
I'd rather you have a bad weekend. And I love you, Sean.
No. Okay. When did this start, Tom? 2008?
Mark D'Antonio.
2008?
I'll tell you when it started with me.
Facts.
It's Mark D'Antonio.
Facts. That little runt.
Yeah.
Pride comes before the
well, you know, if you remember, if we had the Mike Hart game, right, where little brother and everything. And the next year,
that game was on Big Ten Network actually a couple of weeks ago.
The next year was the year, if you remember, it was whatever Rich Rod was doing. And I'll never forget people arguing with me and getting pissed at me and telling me, you don't know about football, that guy wanted to run the 3-3-5 in the Big Ten. And I'm going, Javon Ringer's probably going to go off for 300 yards on you guys. Just so you know, let's set the record straight and everything. But you know,
just want you to know,
people didn't want to hear it, you know. And Maz, I get it. I like I said, we'll turn upside down.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to. What do you have to apologize for? Apologize for nothing. Are you kidding me? No. You know how so many of us live, though. I mean, it was, and I think that's why little brother hurt so much, because there was a shred of truth in
Yes.
I told Braylon point blank. He ruined my Halloween weekend. Remember when he went off?
I'll never forget. I was there. I was right in that end zone.
He absolutely ruined my. I had, and I'm not joking, I had probably a half hour after the game where, like, I said to myself, because my son was so excited, we were going to one of those trick or trunk things.
Yep.
And then
Trunk or treat.
I think the next day was Halloween.
Trick or trunk.
And I said to my son, I said, can you give Daddy a half hour? Daddy has some things to do in the office. And I shut the door in my office and punched the couch and threw the pillows and got it all out of my system so I could go, okay, I'm ready to go, because it was going to ruin my weekend unless I got it out of my system. So
great.
I lived
Good
it.
for
I
you.
get it. I get it.
Back to wrap it up, guys. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys, it's Strawberry Fest at Big Boy. Start your day off with a great breakfast at Big Boy. The strawberry hot cakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffle, and to get a little lunch in you, how about the strawberry bacon chicken wrap? Or if you just want a salad, just a salad.
Salad.
It's the refreshing summer
You don't make
splash
friends with salad.
But then if you have a salad, you can have the dessert, the classic strawberry pie, the deep-fried vanilla Oreo, or the strawberry hot fudge cake. All can be yours at your local Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog.
Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win.
Woodward Sports.
Detroit's winning sports network. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports.
Either way, the heavyweights are here.
Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. We are the network for Detroit.
By Detroiters.
Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What a great day it was yesterday at Outdoor Equipment Company over there on 27 Mile Road in Ray, Michigan. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company, your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts. They carry the top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. Maz was sitting on the Bad Boy yesterday. The heavyweights did their show. They ditched the desk and did the show on a couple of Bad Boys. They are bad boys. Servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit, Greater Lansing. More information, OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground. We just saw a fine young lady walking out of Dispo.
Another happy customer.
Said she loves the pre-rolls here. She comes and gets the pre-rolls.
Sean agreed with
every time she comes.
There's no way do I argue that.
Every time she comes, she leaves with way more than she anticipated she'd leave with for less money. That's what you get out here at Dispo.
And she gets a yogurt.
15, what'd you say?
And she gets a yogurt.
15 locations.
They should like literally grab her and put a camera on her because she was like a walking billboard.
Yeah.
You know, it was, hi, I'm Tom Mazawey. I mean, really, she was like a pitch person for the product.
I'm going to get high tonight.
Uh-oh, it's getting windy.
Oh, what's that mean?
Good. Means college football's coming.
Yeah. Hey, quick thought on the Lions before we get out of here, Sean Baligian. Ben Johnson on a list as the best assistant coach, offensive assistant coach in
Pro Football Focus.
Pro Football Focus. That's Collinsworth's deal.
Yes.
Best assistant coach in the NFL.
How do you argue with the kahunas on that guy and some of the calls that he made?
Penei Sewell?
And when he made them. That's exactly it. See, but let me, this is where I always have to put in the word of caution. You know who else's name was on there? Jim Bob Cooter. Yeah. And remember, Jim Bob Cooter was supposed to be the fix-all here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What he did for Matthew Stafford down the stretch of that 15 season when the Lions got off to that terrible start and nearly made the playoffs but fell just short. With that being said, I don't think that you saw Jim Bob Cooter with the kahunas that we saw last year.
Well, Dan Campbell wasn't there either.
Ben Johnson's calls and when he made them were phenomenal. And you know what? They worked. They worked.
But doesn't it help to have a head coach with some
Oh, no question. Yeah. No question. And you know the never-ending drill. If it fails, you have a bunch of wiseacres like us thinking, this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
He's throwing the ball to P.J. Sewell in that situation. Right. But when it works, Ermanni and Maz and I are all going, you're a genius. You're the best ever.
I would have done that.
Hey, Kellen Moore, number 2 on that list, goes from Dallas to L.A. He'll have his pick of the litter, really, with Justin Herbert. He's going to have an opportunity there to show what he can do.
I love that kid.
Number 6 on that list, really intriguing to me. This is a guy that, many people want him to be a head coach, thought he should have been a head coach. Eric Bieniemy, the 6th best offensive coordinator, number 6, not number 1, not number 2. The fall of Eric Bieniemy, to me, is staggering.
He went from KC to Washington.
But do you know what it reminds me of a little bit? Do you remember Sean Payton was like the hot name 3 or 4 years before he eventually got his job? And then seemingly it seemed like his name cooled off a little bit. And then all of a sudden it was like then he got the job. Maybe history repeats itself like that with Bieniemy, but you're absolutely right. If you would have told me 2 years ago Bieniemy wouldn't have gotten a shot, I wouldn't have believed it.
After 3 Super Bowls?
I think he fails on the interview. I do believe there's something in the interview process.
He
has some bad history. If you
he does have some bad history.
Back to Colorado, he's got skeletons in the closet, and I know he's a grown man now.
Right.
And it's old news. But do we ever forget the freaking old news anymore?
Apparently not. No matter what you do in the 20 years after, the 30 years after.
It's sad.
That's why I tell my kids, stay the hell off social media, and so you can get a good job when you grow up, and don't be stupid and put anything out there that you're going to regret.
You see they're starting to pay on Twitter now?
No.
Incredible stuff. Like all these people getting checks on Twitter yesterday.
What's that?
You need to be Twitter Blue.
So you got to pay for that.
Which is $8.
Okay.
But people are getting checks for $25,000, $2,000, $1,100, $900. If you have ad revenue sharing, if you have like 5 million impressions for 3 consecutive months, you start to get paid. And for what these kids are doing now, it's not hard to do that.
No.
I barely tweeted. I looked at my analytics. I had 1 million impressions. I barely tweeted.
I'm the same way. It's just
I don't think anyone looks at my stuff.
Yeah. I hardly.
I know.
Tweet. Now
it's
I have
crazy.
to look it up.
Yeah.
You got to show me. I got to see how that works.
You got to be Twitter Blue first.
That's fine.
Well, that's never going to happen. So I'm not getting my
You're not going to pay the $8, Sean?
No.
Well,
for something I don't use that much.
Well, for me, it's appropriate for what we do on the internet, because if you're not Twitter Blue, you can't post a video longer than 90 seconds. So,
I never knew that.
I did. I posted a 4.5-minute interview that I did on Fox today, which if I wasn't Twitter Blue, I would never have been able to post that interview.
Wow.
So
now, Sean, you are coming up into the YouTube world and stuff. You might have to start looking at that.
I haven't done. We did that during COVID. We were bored, and we would just do barbecue videos, during COVID.
You and Mike.
Yeah, and it kind of took off, and then people are like, "Why don't you want to do it anymore?" I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Well, you do enough.
I'll put a picture up. My smoker will be busy from tonight until about 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Plus, you and me going back and forth on Pat Summerall. That'll never get old.
Ermanni.
Sean Baligian.
Nice to see you guys.
Check out Sean on WJR weeknights at 6 o'clock.
Yep, you got it.
Check out Sean there. Check us out anytime you want. WoodwardSports.com. Check the heavyweights out next at 5. I see Easy here. Spenny's on his way. Dispo in Hazel Park. Want to thank everybody involved here, including our main man, Sean Dabish. And I want to thank Summer as well from Yogurt to Go. Always a smile on her face. She is the greatest. We love you. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.